Hi, my name is Steve Faulkner and this is Real Magic Review, and this week I'm going to be reviewing Flat Pack by Knowles. But first, you really must watch this. If you're like me and you are constantly trying to up your game with a deck of cards, you want to be an expert, you don't just want to know a couple of tricks, you want to be really knowledgeable, then go and check out cardmagiccourse.com. It's my online resource. It is everything I know with a deck of cards. There's 180 plus videos on there and it's just had an overhaul. There's moves, theory, help with performance, and you can always email if there's something on there that you can't see, and I'll do what I can to create more content for you. So it's a really bespoke learning experience. So if you go through that from beginning to end, if you're a serious beginner or you're already established, you're going to know so much more than most people with a deck of cards. So cardmagiccourse.com, and there are a few free previews on there. If you go onto Card Controls Volume 2, you'll get a free preview of the spread card. And one more thing, very important, please like and subscribe down there. Hit the bell so you'll get notifications, and don't forget to look in the comments bit at the end. There'll be all the links and the info you need on the product and of course the card course. Here's the review. So first of all, I think this is a really lovely effect. Okay, it reminds me again of a kind of Paul Harris kind of quirky thing. You're not expecting it, you know. It seems to have a real grounding in originality, and you might be able to correct me on this. I haven't seen any of this sort of thing before. I'm sure there's loads of things like this out there, but I haven't seen a production like this before. So, and I think that's why we all liked it on social media. You know, it seemed to get around social media and in our email inboxes and create a bit of a stir, because it's, when we as magicians see something different, we go, oh, that's cool. And especially something animated, it has that real otherworldly animation feeling to it when you're getting this little, folding this little, so I'm looking down at that, you can't see it, folding this little, seeing this folded bit of paper, and kind of it becomes a deck of cards, and that's got to be a good thing, right? It reminds me a bit of tricks like Extreme Burn in its brevity. So Extreme Burn is a trick on itself, by itself. Okay, you don't have to use it as a lead into anything or out. It's a self-contained thing, where this to me feels like, well, it is a way of bringing in a deck of cards in a really magical way. And we're all kind of looking for that, aren't we? We're all looking for those little bits that lead us into tricks. And I'm shocking. I'm the worst for sort of just going, well, that was that trick, here's another one. And I should work on that maybe, finally. But I seem to get away with it. But this is a nice few, and because this, if you look at the demos, it comes out of a wallet, okay? So you bring this out of a wallet. So it's a nice, you know, you could do another trick with a wallet and then go on to the card trick like that. So it's a nice transition. That's the word I'm looking for, Steve, transition. So into a trick. So that's all good. Effect great, trick great, looks brilliant, and that's the good stuff, okay? And original. The challenges for me, and there are a few with this. The first is, a lot of people are going to be saying, and I've purposefully not looked on the forums and see what people are saying. I try not to most of the time. This is a delicate bit of kit, and we had this with Mintbox, all right? With Mintbox, I said, you know, 50 quid or whatever, and you've got to be careful. At some point, you might have to replace something, and this is the same deal. Without going into it, I don't think I've got to be that worried about exposure, because you're going to be able to work out kind of, maybe not the details, but what happens by looking at the ads, but I'll try not to. This is delicate, all right? It's made of cardboard and other bits and pieces. And as soon as I looked into this, I'm quite clumsy, and I looked at this and went, I'll give it a week, you know? And that's not based on fact, because I haven't taken this to a live performance yet. I have performed it live quite badly, but I haven't taken this out in a working environment. But I know myself, I know my clumsiness. You know, if I put a loop on my wrist, I know I'm going to get to bed and forget it's there and wake up and it's going to be halfway across my face or something like that. So I know myself. So if you're like me, beware. This isn't going to last me. I just know it isn't, and that's maybe my own fault. But what I would say, even if you are very careful, you know, this is part of this is going to break, and this is very explicit in the instructions. So I don't think I'm doing anything out of order. You are going to replace certain bits, and this has gone through in detail, which is really nice actually. I remember with Mintbox it wasn't, and I kind of wanted to know exactly what I needed, and I had to do a little bit of research, which was fine. But this goes through it really explicitly. So on the download, it does cover everything very, very well, and it's very well presented. So just know that. The other thing is that it goes through how to replace a certain bit. My feeling is and I don't think it went through this, but forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think there's going to be more than that you're going to have to replace. Anything that's made of cardboard is going to wear down, is going to get knackered, as a card case is. And this is, in fact, it's kind of similar to a card case. You are going to have to, at some point, I think, replace the whole thing, which again is fine, but for the money, I suppose I'd rather not. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather not. But then I do have to do my extreme burn every now and then, even though I should have done it a long time ago because it's knackered. So just know that, really worth knowing. The other thing is in the performance of it. Now, I'm always saying that you can get away with more than you think in performance with a magic trick, and I think you can. I'm someone that has done the cups and balls for a long time, and when I remember the first time I did that melon load, I was like, I'm not going to get away with this, and I got away with it and went, well, right, okay. And I still now, I've been doing it 20 years, and I still think, well, nearly 20 years, and I still think, wow, I can't believe I get away with that. But you get away with those loads in the cups and balls because of the misdirection and because of the moment and where people's attention lies. And this is the one issue I've got with the performance of this trick. There are two ways of doing it. One of them is sitting at a table. I think on a table it's fine, mostly. The angles are fine. If you're on stage, it's going to look good. It is something I would consider using on stage if I wanted to have that moment of whoa, which is, you'll see on the performance that I did, this is a very loose use of the word, that there was that moment, all right? So that's fine. On stage, with distance, all that kind of stuff, it's okay. The standing way of doing it, I have a couple of issues with. Again, cups and balls, right? I'm loading a melon, or I'm loading the oranges, or even extra ball, and the eyes and the attention is on the table, on the balls. When I do this trick, the attention is on the box. Okay, so there has to be a bit of time before I do the next bit, which is the real trick, and that is tipping that box up and cards coming out of the box. That's the bit, all right? Because up to there, it's that moment, and then they're going to start working backwards. So they might think gimmick, or whatever. Nobody's going to look at that and go, "Oh, did he?" It's mechanical. That isn't to say it isn't very magical and it isn't cool. There's the let's say the equivalent to the melon load or whatever. Again, the melon load, you're looking at the table, you're looking at the thing, and that's what allows you to load the melon. With this, my feeling is they're looking at one thing, and that's that, right? So I've got to load. I've got to do something, sorry, but it's pretty obvious, isn't it? I've got to do something with the heat on that, and that's the whole thing. It's all about the heat and where the attention is. And even though I can put some misdirection towards it and I can take the heat off it, to me the sort of heat's come off it, and it's kind of where, ideally you want to be going bang and emptying it out. So I've seen it look good, and I have no doubt it looks good. And with a lot of practice, you can make this totally work. I've really been struggling with it. Every time I've kind of felt that there's been a little bit of that, woohoo, what was that, and that could be lack of practice, but I've spent a bit of time. It's not like I've done it once and taken it out. So I've done the equivalent of what you would do, I think, is practicing quite a lot at home, taking it out and then going, oh, I have to work on that. And what I will say is that this is angly. And again, I'm sure you can hold it in a certain way where if the heat's not on there, it's not angly, but I'm really struggling with angles on this. So I've done it at a table, totally different story. Table, bang, and it looked brilliant. And I've shown it to people that know magic, and they've gone, wow, where did that come from? But standing up, all I will say, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of figuring it out, and I don't feel comfortable with where the heat is at that point. Okay, and I hope that's okay to say all that without giving too much away. And the other thing is does it work every time? Mostly. I've played with this and played with this and played with this, and no matter what I do, every now and then I pop that thing open and something hangs up. That's all I'll say. And he does cover this on the download. It is, if it hangs up, you can make it look fine. And I'm sure, again, you can get away with it with performance. You can still make it look okay, but a couple of times it's hung up and there's no getting out of it. It just looks like I'm throwing a picture of a deck of cards on the table, which isn't a very magical thing. So I just want to make you aware of that. It's a reality for me. It might be because this is one out of thousands that is hanging up a bit and the rest isn't. And I'm sure if I sent it would be fine. But I'm just giving you my experience on getting this and trying to be as honest as possible. So that's the issues. It's angly to me. There's a timing issue, and the longer you wait, I don't think it's as magical because they're going to be, well, something could have happened there. And there's this physical thing of it kind of. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I've made that fairly obvious, I think. But Am I going to just chuck this away and go, no, it's not for me? No, I'm not actually. I'm gonna work with this, and I'm gonna take it out to a couple of gigs. I'm gonna try it out and just see what happens. And it might be that I go, it's working now because I'm in a totally different situation, with a busy situation with the drinks. I think it's a very different thing than me taking it one-to-one in a cafe and doing it there. So it might be one of those things that made for a more performing social situation that is with friends if you're an amateur and you're not a performer. So it's something worth thinking about. So it's not a total no. I think there's a lot of promise in it, but I do have a few issues. So flat pack, it is about 30 quid, I think. Okay, which again is, I think, quite expensive for something you might be replacing and working with. And it's available all over the place. I'll put a link below. But I do think it's a really unique and really eye-popping thing if you can get your head around it and put the work in, and you can make it work for. I'd love to know what you think. Please comment below if you disagree, and I'm totally happy with that. It is one man's opinion. That is all this is, and get involved in the discussion. And I'll probably have a look on the forums and realise that everybody thinks it's great and I'm talking nonsense. So thanks very much. Do look at cardmagiccourse.com. That would be great. Like and subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Vanish link, of course you can't do that, but just keep watching, keep sharing, and have a great day. Cheers.